Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Lifestyle Sports. It's AI from the 210. We have a lot to discuss today. Yesterday, we had two great playoff games. We have a lot to discuss, but the first topic we're going to go ahead and get into is LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Some people hate to hear the comparison, but both players have been phenomenal in NBA history, and I feel like this would be something we'll speak about forever. The first topic is, can LeBron James catch Michael Jordan if he wins this ring against the Nets? Does that make him the greatest of all time? We know currently Jordan has 6 rings, 6 finals MVPs, and 5 regular season MVPs. There hasn't been too many players in NBA history who has such a resume. LeBron James happens to be the current player now who's closest to being able to even have the opportunity to catch those numbers, those accolades. Currently, LeBron has 4 finals MVPs, 4 championships, and 4 regular season MVPs. To me, that's great, but we gotta see what he can do. That's great. Other things I want to mention though, before we get into the answer, I just want to mention that Jordan does have a higher PER at his peak, which is the player efficiency rating. You know, they factor in all the little offensive stats and give a rating for how they feel like those stats combine together, how efficient it is on the court. Jordan has the highest in history, so I feel like we got to see who's the next player that could catch Jordan at that peak. Jordan was a phenomenal player. He was a killer. So he has a higher PER at his peak. But we can't say that LeBron James has had more dominant seasons due to the fact that LeBron James is in his 18th season at the moment. He just caught an injury, but I don't feel like that's slowing him down in his career. I feel like if he continues to play, he can still adjust and continue to find a new role, but still stack up those numbers that he needs to stack to be great and contribute in the playoffs. So LeBron James we can say he has more seasons at a peak level. I feel like that's fair to say. Another thing we could say about Jordan is a 10-time scoring champ. That's phenomenal. Like, will we ever see that again? A 10-time scoring champion. And I believe Jordan has scored over 30 points per game 8 times. That's insane. That's insane. And winning with that. Like, we see people who can score, but sometimes it doesn't translate to wins. Jordan was just far beyond everybody. He was just dominant. Defensive player of the year is insane. But one thing, we would also say for LeBron that LeBron may retire as the all-time leading scorer in the NBA. If he plays 20 seasons, he keeps up at this pace, maybe around 25 points a game, something like that. I feel like he could get that. 25 points per game, he could easily end up as the all-time leading scorer. And I feel like that can match. You can say that, which one would you rather have? That's a good match. Also, LeBron James may end up in the top 5 in assists all time. That's crazy. He came in the game. You could say he's a point guard. You know, I would consider him a small forward in my opinion, but due to the size and, you know, this new NBA positionless, you can say. But LeBron James spent a lot of his years at the small forward position. To be a top 5 all time in assists at small forward, like his basketball IQ is just far beyond. Personally, I love seeing LeBron orchestrate on the court. It's hard to see somebody. It's hard to find somebody who done it like him in his position like that. You know, point guards are great at doing it, but Braun at a small forward, he can have a great impact on the game. Then something I love about Jordan, the killer in Jordan. No game 7s in the finals. No game 7s. Won every finals he was in, and there was no game 7s. See, that's amazing. Jordan ended it before he even gets anywhere. That's miraculous to say. I love Jordan for that. LeBron, he can't really say the same, but I feel like it's fair to say LeBron James has had harder opponents in the finals. The Warriors, those Spurs teams, you can't really, some of those losses, you can't really blame LeBron James himself for, like the war when Kyrie and Kevin Love was hurt when they played in that finals matchup. That wasn't necessarily LeBron's fault. LeBron was killing. You know, sometimes the chips just don't fall your way. He played some great teams in the finals. I don't know if we can say Jordan has played that same level of competition in the finals. Like that Jazz team, they were good, well-rounded, but I would say the Bulls were always the favorite. Where LeBron going into the finals, he may be the best player on the court, but team-wise, his team hasn't always been the best. He's dragged a lot of teams to the finals. That's worth mentioning in itself. And then off the court, LeBron James has been a great social activist. I love how LeBron James stands up and he's not afraid to speak on those topics that definitely need to be spoken about. That's a great thing. Athletes, I know they don't want to, a lot of times they try not to be looked at as like people to look up to, but they're always on TV. You know, they do things a lot of people admire. So, you know, little kids and all that, they always gonna look up to the athletes. And if they stand up for what's right, that's a great thing. LeBron James has been great at that, always at the right time. Jordan, his impact off the court has been amazing. Like, people still know Jordan. Jordan, the shoes will forever sell. Jordan still considered the GOAT by many. And it's like, Jordan off the court, that's a living legend. That's a walking superhero right there. Like, to hear people say when they see Jordan that it just seems like he's floating. Or like, that Jordan just has a glow around him. That's amazing to say about somebody. That alone right there lets you know how his impact was and what he did. In my opinion, LeBron would have to win 6 rings to be considered greater than Jordan. If he gets this ring against KD, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, I feel like we could have a good conversation about that they're tied for the greatest player, because that's nothing easy to beat. We for sure know Jordan never went up against no 3-headed monster like that. So we're going to see in this finals. I would say if he could get this finals and the finals MVP, we can say he's tied with Jordan. We can say